Here, amazing. I always say constantly, Gideon Falls is my favorite book on the shelf, and I've not read anything better since Black Monday Murders by Hickman. Those two are my favorite books of all time.
Cool.
Yes, and I love your. I'm a Twin Peaks fan, and I know you are too.
Big fan.
Yes, I love your Blue Rose magazine. I had to get that cover signed.
Yeah,
that was amazing. Do you have any? I just want, as a Twin Peaks fan, I wanted to ask if you had any like favorite like Twin Peaks parts.
Like of the series?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's too hard. Like I feel like the third season was just every episode had multiple like scenes or moments that were just blew my mind.
Yeah. And even more like questions that guy like made up. Did you have like a finished lore that you wanted to like maybe like what about Joni like, being stuck in the cabin with the doorknob? You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah. No, I
like
feel
a fan theory.
Super satisfied with like how it ended, and I like how it asks more questions than it answers, and it keeps fans engaged for another 25 years.
Absolutely.
And you can just rewatch it, and you find new things every time. And I try to. Hopefully, that's kind of what I'm trying to do with Gideon. Where it's pretty layered, and I do answer some questions and then open other doors, but some things you leave a little bit. You suggest things, but not always give.
Yes.
I think that's the best way to build a mystery, to engage fans and have theories, and it's fun.
That's part of the reason I brought Twin Peaks is there's a lot of homages of Twin Peaks in Gideon Falls.
Yeah,
and I love just like the Black Cabin, the Black Lodge, the Bookhouse Boys Club they did. Like, can you make a patch of those guys?
That's a good idea.
That'd be awesome.
That's a good idea.
I need that. And of course, Black Hammer. Amazing.
Well, I was gonna say, Ascender, Descender, Gideon Falls, Thanos. The list of your work is just absolutely staggering. I couldn't possibly have read them all before we came here. Is Black Hammer your magnum opus? Please say yes.
I don't know how to answer that. It's certainly become much bigger than I ever thought it would be. For me, it started off as the main farm story was going to be something that I did, and it would be beginning, middle, and end, and that would be my love letter to superheroes. But the success of that book and the way the universe just kind of naturally started to become a universe and build into all these side projects, it opened all these doors, and now it's become much bigger than I ever anticipated, and I don't really know where it ends.
Is this going to be the final chapter for number 3 coming out?
No, I don't think there's, I think what I've done that I really like moving forward is I've introduced like the new Black Hammer, Black Hammer's daughter becoming the new Black Hammer. Right. And I feel like there's just limitless potential now with her, now that she's kind of established, and I kind of want to. I would like to see her survive and live on as like a character for decades, the way like the Marvel and DC characters do.
Now you mentioned that she takes over, but there's another big twist in Black Hammer that I won't spoil here. Everyone, go check it out. I think it's the third trade, maybe.
Okay.
When you sat down to write Black Hammer, when you're like, I'm going to do this. Was that twist already in your head, or did you just end up there?
I'm not sure which twist you're talking about.
The end of Volume 2?
It involves
the spaceship.
Oh, yeah, that was always there. That was there from the beginning, And the very last few pages of the third volume was always there. Just, the getting there, you kind of go in new areas and stuff, but you always kind of end up in the same spot. Yeah. So those twists were always
I think you're a genius. I
I agree.
Like Black Hammer, because you can cover, every age of comic books.
Yeah,
and put all the toys in one world. You can combine, make amalgamations, whatever you want to however you see fit. It's amazing. Same thing with Gideon Falls. You have these different dimensions and alternate like genres you can create. You have like a little steampunk city. You have like a Western like city, universe. It's brilliant. I love it. It's never been done before, and you can do anything you want. It's unprecedented in my opinion.
It's fun. I mean, I feel like when you're putting out multiple creator-owned books, they have to all be different from one another, or else you're just repeating. So with Ascender and Descender, we have science fiction and fantasy where I can kind of do anything I want in that genre, and then superheroes with Black Hammer, and then horror and weird sci-fi with they each give you something a little different, but for me as a creator, they're kind of limitless in what I can do in each of those genres that I love. So it's kind of a dream come true for me to have those books out and be successful and have that freedom as a creator.
For sure.
You're a proud Canadian. You're a person who works in the arts. How much pressure do you feel on a daily basis to be the nicest person that people meet?
I feel like it is part of. It does come with being Canadian. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not that nice, trust me. I'm just nice on camera.
Can you show us the look of satisfaction that came over your face the moment you thought up the name Abraham Slam?
No, it's not as good as the best one. It was Abraham Slam's super pet, who was a pig called Ham Sandwich.
Oh, yes,
my favorite
yes.
name that I've come up with.
We got to see the premiere.
But
of Ham
the
Slam.
secret of Black Hammer.
Is it different in Canada?
What?
Is it Canadian bacon?
Right.
The secret of Black Hammer really is just become ridiculous pun names and then building a story around them.
So much fun, right?
yeah, perfect.
It starts
get away
like
with
Barbalian, and then
Yes.
all of a sudden, 10 years later, I have like a shared universe.
And now combined with the Justice League, it's
That was
so
fun.
good. It's so fun. It's always a highlight of mine to read. I can't wait till the next issue comes out all the time.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
In terms of your work in Big Two type comics, you seem to have a special appreciation for like lesser known characters, Animal Man, the Sentry,
Yeah.
Thanos before he was cool.
Right.
Do you get more pleasure out of sort of elevating those characters than you would being handed a major
Yeah,
character?
absolutely. And also, you just have more freedom to go places. Like Superman and Batman are great characters, but I'd have no idea what to do with them. It hasn't been done, And there's already been so many great runs by different writers and artists that there's just not room to really put your stamp on those guys. At least for me, the way I make comics, And but then you get someone like Green Arrow or Animal Man or whatever, and it's just like almost kind of like a blank slate where you can really make them your own and try to do something special and elevate those characters. And so I definitely prefer the C D-list characters. That's where I thrive, I think.
Absolutely.
We're all big comic book collectors, and this is known as a collector-friendly convention. Do you have a collection? Do you collect comic books, and how would you describe your collection?
I do. I mean, I've been collecting since I was really young. I still have most of the comics I had since then, and I mean, I'm not a collector who collects to collect. I collect to read, so I don't really worry about keeping my books in good condition or whatever.
Yeah.
I just love reading them. But I mean,
Is something you're like always on the hunt for?
I'm trying to my kind of sweet spot for comics was when I was a kid in the mid 80s in DC Comics. So anything published by DC between 83 and 80, maybe almost 90, like 83 and 90, I kind of have a sweet spot. I'll buy anything. And then the first kind of wave of Vertigo books was also
how can you deny that?
a big influence on me. So I kind of have a full collection of almost all that stuff. And it's
So we're not going to see you in line at the CGC booth.
Right. See, I don't care about that. I don't do it for value or speculation.
Right.
I just love reading them, and I love
That's beautiful.
the inspiration they give me.
Definitely.
Yeah, I've devoured Black Hammer, all the 3 trades that are out so far over the past couple months since I found out you're going to be here.
Can you tell us about
It's just
anything
really
about
moving.
Gideon Falls being options?
Yeah, it's in the works. Yeah, James Wan, who directed Aquaman and Conjuring and all those, he's come on as an executive producer.
Oh man, exciting!
And we have a showrunner and a writer who we haven't announced yet, but who's working on his take on the series, and it's moving pretty quickly. So
Are you stuck writing the screenplay? They'd be like, "Hey, do this too," or are they just going to adapt?
For Gideon Falls, I'm not adapting, but for Black Hammer, I did write the screenplay, and so I'm doing a bit of that too,
Awesome.
which is fun.
Exciting! Jeez.
Is there a mainstream character you haven't written yet that you would love to get your hands on? Kind of.
There's a couple. Even though I'm a DC guy, there's a couple Marvel characters I kind of have a soft spot for, like the Punisher and the Hulk. They're both two characters I love.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Axelon's actually offered me the Punisher
Oh,
right before
man.
he left Marvel, and I was too busy, and I kind of kicked myself. But and then at DC, I feel like I kind of got to play with a lot of the toys there. I love Swamp Thing, but I don't know what I don't know what I do with Swamp Thing because I'm so the Alan Moore stuff especially was just so.
I was going to ask, since you love Vertigo so much, if you had a choice to pick any of the Vertigo titles to continue, which one would you pick? And I guess Swamp Thing.
Well, I felt like when I did Animal Man, I tried to honor what Grant had done. So it wasn't a direct continuation, but I tried to make it sort of a spiritual sequel to that.
Nice.
So I kind of got to do that with that book. That
Very
was
cool.
fun. I have a soft spot for Dead Man. I'd like to do
That'd be
something
sweet.
with Dead Man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very nice. Well, we know there's a line forming
Yes,
at your
yes,
booth, and
yes.
you're
One last
short on
thing.
time,
Any
so
future things you want to talk about that's coming out?
Well, the next big Black Hammer book is called Skull Digger and Skeleton
That's right.
Boy. And it's
Yes, that looks awesome. I love the design on
it's
that.
pretty crazy. Tansi Sanjik, he's like drawing it, coloring it, lettering it, and his designs of those characters are pretty special. I think that one's going to be pretty cool. It's
Awesome.
kind of my love letter to basically every Frank Miller comic ever.
Sick.
ever written.
Can we expect more work between you and Dean too?
Oh yeah, me and Dean are working on our next Black Hammer project right now, and
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jeff.
Appreciate you spending a few minutes with us, man.
Yes,
my pleasure.
Awesome.
All right, thanks.
You're free to go.
Thank you again so much.
Thanks, man.
Oh, dude, no problem. Yeah.